Well, good day YouTube, and welcome to another episode of the Albino Beer Review. As you guys know, every year I do a video talking about the winners at the Ontario Brewing Awards and the Canadian Brewing Awards. Well, yesterday was the Ontario Brewing Awards, so we're going to go through this. Let's preface this with a few things. Number one, most times I'm not judging the judges. There will be a few of these times where I will be judging the judges because I just can't believe what happened. I don't know what was in each category. These judges are headed up by Paul Dickey, an amazing, renowned judge, a pretty amazing brewer as well. So I'm not taking away from them. In each category, I'll tell you how I feel about the category. I'll tell you any honorable mentions I think should be there. I don't know if they actually were at the competition or not, so I can't talk about that. But I can talk about the order, who's there, and who I think should be there. This year they did something different. All the flights for each judge, each group of 3 judges are put onto the specific styles. All the flights came out at the same time, so all the beers on the flight were there at the same time, so you could objectively rate something instead of having to try and remember or read your notes for what was happening before that round, which is also a great step forward. What else do we have going on here? Here's something else that irks me, that grinds my gears, if you will. You know what? The Ontario Brewing Awards should be Ontario beers, exclusively Ontario beers. So Molson should not be able to put Coors in. Labatt shouldn't be able to put Bud in, or Shock Top, or Rolling Rock, or any other beer that is not made exclusively in Ontario. Let's do this, guys. If it's exclusively made in Ontario, you can put it in. If it isn't, it's not part of the Ontario Brewing Awards. I'm sorry, you're brewing on contract. It's brewed somewhere else. You're not brewing it in Ontario, really. You're just making it here to get around taxation things and import fees and everything else. So let's stop trying to pretend that it's actually an American beer. You know what? Labatt does Guinness Extra Stout. Why don't we just start putting Guinness Extra Stout in the stout category? Why don't we, I'm digressing now, forget it. Let's just go on, right? Let's move on. Sapporo. Okay, light lager. First place in the light lager competition went to Stonewall Light. Now here's a question to all, from the Cool Brewing Company, of course. Here's a question for all you beer drinkers that are here with me. Did Cool make 2 types of Stonewall Light? Because I reviewed a Stonewall Light. There was a Stonewall Light, but it was lime flavored. It didn't say Stonewall Light lime. It was just Stonewall Light, and it was lime. Because if they haven't made 2 types, if they haven't made one that's lime and one that isn't, this shouldn't be in this category because it's not a fruit flavored beer. Laker Light and then F&M Stonehammer Light. Now, before I go on into this, Laker Light shouldn't be in any award ceremony, but I'm digressing again into a fact that the way the light beer is, you know what? Let's preface this as well. Some of these styles have to be changed a little bit. The BGCP and the Ontario Brewing Awards way of looking at light beers makes it so that a craft brewery will never win, really, because they make it so that it has to be basically tasteless. It should be clean and refreshing, agreed. It should be well balanced, agreed, but it should have mild to low malt flavoristics and very mild to low hop characteristics. I'm sorry, if a light beer should be a beer with lower calories and lower ABV. That's what should make it light, not the flavor profile, the ABV, and the caloric intake. If you can make an 100 IBU beer that has 4% alcohol and low calories, more power to you. That should be winning every time. I don't like huge IBUs, but it should be winning every time. Well, I shouldn't say I don't like them. I don't always like them. But that should be, oh my god, an amazing light beer. But anyway, so really, this category is set up for the big breweries. But I still don't understand, you know what, if Bud and Coors are in it, I don't know if they came this year, but they've come in years past. If they were in this, how did they not win it? Because they are the epitome of what the light lager tasting notes say it should be. F&M Light, great beer. The Anti-Gravity Light from Flying Monkeys, great beer. Gananoque's Remarkably Light Lager, apparently amazing. It sells out everywhere it goes. Bayside Brewing's light beer, another beer that could easily compete in this category. Nickelbrook's Light, I'm not a big fan of Nickelbrook's Light, but it could compete in this category as well. There's just so many of them. There really is. And it could be a toss-up by the way it's done. Next round is the North American Lager, another one that could be a toss-up just because of the way it goes. any lager could compete, and every year, mattering which group of judges are there, anyone could win. You had Amsterdam Natural Blonde in first place, Muskoka Craft Lager in second, Great Lakes Golden Horseshoe in third. Okay, sure. European style lager, which is a Pilsner. You have Big Rig Champion Pilsner, King Pilsner, Steam Whistle Pilsner. Never had the Big Rig Champion Pilsner. I'm a big fan of Big Rig stuff, though, so sure. King Pilsner, yeah, Pilsners, again, they're a toss-up. There's Stonehammer, F&M Stonehammer Pilsner. There's a bunch of Pilsners that could be in this category. But again, it's another toss-up round. I personally, if the Steam Whistle was fresh and either canned or kegged, I'd probably say it deserves to be above King, but you don't know how they brought it. Maybe they brought it in the green bottles, maybe it was older, maybe, whatever. Ambers. Nickelbrook Marzen beer. John makes a great Marzen beer. I'm glad to see that on here. Third place. Let's jump to third place. Hop City Barking Squirrel. Okay. Second place. Cool Millennium Buzz. What the hell? Now, was this a 3-beer category? And if it was a 3-beer category, how did Barking Squirrel get behind Cool Millennium Buzz? Cool Millennium Buzz is a beer that we had in our budget beer ladder match. That in its match, it went up against Cool Lager. Now, again, we were doing this all blind. We didn't know what was what. But when it went up against Cool Lager, all 5 of us voted for Cool Lager and voted against Millennium Buzz. And then the next round, it was Cool Lager versus, I believe, Keystone. And again, we didn't know which was which, only the guy pouring them knew, and Keystone got 5 votes and Cool Lager got nothing. So I mean, I'm just saying this as the Millennium Buzz got blown out, and then the thing that beat it got blown out. How did it win? And that's one of the only choices in here that I'm going to question. One of the only ones. Next, after that we have Dark Lager. King Dark. Okay. Big Rig Schwarzbier as number 2. Okay. Waterloo Dark is number 3. Okay. My only question is, where's the Cameron's Dark 266? It should really be there above Waterloo Dark. There's a couple dark lagers that could probably be there before Waterloo Dark. I'm not really angry with the Waterloo Dark winning an award, because you know what? It has been a good beer in the past, and it's still a drinkable beer, so okay, I accept that. I just don't know what was in the category, and that's the only reason why I'm kind of weirded on it. Box. First place, Amsterdam Springbok. Second place, Creemore Deviator. Second place, Cameron's Deviator. Third place, Creemore Urbach. You know what? That's not a bad Bock list right there. In all honesty, that's not a bad list. I could accept that list. Again, I think personally the Deviator should be above the Springbok, but that's my personal opinion on the beers that I've tried. But yeah, it's not a bad list. Next, after that, honey or maple beers. Mill Street Spring Thaw, Mill Street Royal York Stinger, F&M Stonehammer Maple Red. So Mill Street took first and second, Stonehammer came in third. Now we're looking at honey or maple beers. Honorable mentions, I don't know if they were there, but these are things that I would have put in the tops. Excuse my language. The Honey Elixir from Railway City. The St. Paddy's Day beer from Railway City. I'm having brain farts right now. I'll come back to that. Nickelbrook's Maple Porter, really good beer. The Shambok, that's it. The Shambok. It has honey in it and everything else. I think it could have been something that would win on this. There is a bunch of honey maple beers, but those are the 3 that jump into my mind for here in Ontario. I haven't had many great Ontario maple beers, but those 3 are there. The F&M Maple Red is really good. It is. The Spring Thaw was pretty good. The Spring Thaw actually reminded me quite a lot of the Nickelbrook Maple Porter. So yeah, I can accept that. I'm just again saying other beers that I don't know if they were there or not, but I could see take this. German style wheat beer. Okay, German style wheat beer isn't the one that makes me angry. It's the next category. German style wheat beer. Muskoka Summer Weiss. Okay. Beer Academy Hefeweizen. Okay. Denison's Weiss beer. Denison's is a beer that you see almost every year in this. It's weird because Denison's isn't the most widely available beer. It's hard for me to get here in Ontario, here in Southern Ontario. It's hard to find in a lot of places in Ontario at the LCBOs, but it's always on this awards page. It is contract brewed. It's canned. It should be able to be everywhere. It's hard to find though, and it's weird because it's always an award-winning beer. You'd think that would be pushed out more. This category though, okay, sure. We're talking German-style wheat beers. If we really want to go into a German-style wheat beer, Nickelbrook does a Berliner Weiss, which is a German-style wheat beer. It's a sour wheat beer though, but it has an honorable mention for me in this category just because it is a full-on German style. But yeah, I can get behind all those. I can. Next, Belgian style wheat beer, and here's where one of my things came up about if it's not brewed in Ontario exclusively, it shouldn't be on here. First place is Labatt Shock Top Belgian White. Cover your ears if you don't like swearing. What the fuck, man? What the fuck? How did that come in first? How did that beat out? Second place was Mill Street Belgian White. Third place was Black Oak Saison. I don't really think a Saison should be in a wheat style beer, in a Belgian style wheat beer category, but they do use wheat in it, so okay, I can get it. But I think a Saison should be more its own category, say like flavored beers. But yeah, or spiced beers. How in the fuck did Shock Top win this category? Between Belgian wit beer and Black Oak Saison and whatever else was there. I'm guessing Nickelbrook had their organic white there. I'm guessing that, well, there's just so many white beers in Ontario. And if we're adding Saisons as well, Bellwood Saison is amazing. There's just so many Saisons as well that are amazing if we're going to let Saisons into this category. How in the fuck did Labatt's Shock Top Belgian White win? How? How is it even led in the category? Again, it's not exclusively brewed here. That's contract brewed here. That's an American beer, not an Ontario beer. Get it out of the Ontario Brewing Awards. Simmer. But, yeah, I don't... This is when you start questioning the judges, is when stuff like that wins. It's just when the... And then we go on to cream ale. Let's just jump down to cream ale. Cream ale. First place, Clock Tower West Brew. Never had any Clock Tower beers, don't know what that is, so okay. Next, Cameron's Cream Ale. Okay. Big Rig Gold. I found that more like a blonde ale than a cream ale, but okay, sure. At least it's not a Labatt 50 winning the cream ale category. Next, we get the British Pale Ale. First place at the British Pale Ale. Do you have a guess what it is? Muskoka Cream Ale. Now that says cream ale. Why isn't it in the cream ale category? It's in the British Pale Ale category. Oh shit, I got a hair stuck in there. Okay, there we go. Then Black Oak Pale, then Grand Rivers Ploughman's Ale. Okay, you know what? Sure. Other than the Muskoka Cream Ale, which really should be in the cream ale category, I can accept those. And that's my only thing with the Muskoka Cream Ale category, the cream ale thing winning. If you're going to call yourself a cream ale, then you should be the style of a cream ale, not a British Pale Ale. But again, I'm digressing. I'm going on. Let's go into the next thing. North American Pale Ale. First place, Nickelbrook's Naughty Neighbor. Good for you, John. Congrats. Great beer. Spearhead Hawaiian Style Pale Ale. Again, great for you guys, Spearhead. Dimitri, that's amazing. I do really like that beer. Great Lakes Crazy Canuck comes in third. In all honesty, for flavor profile and what they should be, Great Lakes Crazy Canuck, as much as I'm not a huge fan of it, should probably come in first. It should hit the stylistic marks better than the other two. But I'm digressing. Other North American Pale Ales, most of them that I know would be more would be more the American IPAs, so we'll just move on. British IPAs. Mill Street's IPA. Clock Tower, Wishart's Extra Special Bitter, Grand River Curmudgeon. Again, not a category I can say much about because I don't know what else was in it. British style IPAs. not many that I can even give honorable mentions to. Those ones do hit the styles pretty good. I can't say that anything should be wrong. Next, North American IPA. First place, Nickel Brooks Headstock. You know what? Great on you again, John. I really do enjoy that beer. Flying Monkey's Smash Bomb. Peter, great. Enjoy that beer. Muskoka Mad Tom, sure. I actually like the Twice as Mad Tom better than the Mad Tom. Other things to put up in there, they're Imperials, but Nickel Brooks Immodest IPA, amazing IPA. If there's any left, you guys should go to Burlington and get some amazing IPA. Bellwoods does some great North American IPAs as well. There's just so many APAs out there because, well, there's just so many pale ales in general out there that these categories are hard to say what would win and what wouldn't. It all matters what people brought, and again, it all matters personal taste. I personally like citrus hops a lot better than anything else. That's why Headstock's there for me, Smash Bomb's there for me, Immodest is there for me. But digressing, good category. Amber Ale, Niagara College Teaching Breweries Butler's Bitter. A great amber ale, actually. I'm glad to see Niagara College coming home with an award. Clock Tower Red, Cameron's Auburn Ale. Sure. Again, don't know what else is in that category this year, so sure. Dark Ale. Magnotta True North Copper. I always thought the Copper was an alt beer. I'm going to have to look that up. But Copper really shouldn't be a dark ale. That should go into the amber ale category. And again, it comes out with what you're writing on your bottle to what you're giving people. Get Well Fuggle It. Get Well is a nano brewery in Toronto. Never had any Get Well things. F&M Stonehammer Dark Ale. There's a lot of dark ales there. It all matters what you decide to put in the dark ale now that we know that a copper ale can go in the dark ale. Are we just looking at things in darker color? Then we have the Malevolent Dark Black IPA. We have the Cascadian Dark Ale. We have so many different dark ales we could throw in here, mattering what you're accepting. Muskoka Dark. Where's Muskoka Dark? I'd put that in here above the Magnotta True North Copper. Not taking anything away from Magnotta. I'm just saying what I personally would rather see in here. Magnotta True North, another brewery that is kind of hard to get your hands on, so you never really know, and it doesn't sell that well. So sometimes you get a case and it's already expired. That's happened to me actually with the Copper beer. We bought the Copper beer to review, and by the time I had it for a week and I drank the bottles and they had already expired, and the bottling date from their factory said it was about 7 months old. I had just bought it at the beer store. Thing I hate about the beer store, but we're digressing again. Porters. Great Lakes Harry Porter, Get Well Porter, Bellwoods Lost River Baltic Porter. All good porters. You have Nickel Brooks Maple Porter. You have the Burnt Rock Vanilla Porter from Bose, which is to die for. You have porters all over the province that are great porters. I can't say anything bad about the ones that won. Again, I just kind of wish I knew what was in the category. I wish they'd list what was entered into each category as well instead of just the winners. Stouts. Railway City Black Coal Stout. Sawdust City Skinny Dipping Stout. Great stout. Spearhead's Belgian Stout. Pretty good stout. Other stouts worth mentioning? There's always other stouts worth mentioning. Hellwood Stout. It doesn't matter. This is a fine showing. Railway City's Black Coal Stout got a lot better this year than it was in years past, so I could see that now. Before I would say it shouldn't have won. They didn't have the body that they needed, and now they have that body, so good on them. Great work, guys. Imperial Stouts. Muskoka's Winter Beard. Great stout. Great Lakes Bourbon Aged Russian Imperial Stout. Now, here's my question for you guys. If you have a category for barrel-aged beers, how did this stout get allowed to be in this? You have to really decide what your styles are going to be. You might have an imperial stout category, but if you also have a barrel-aged category, you can't let a barrel-aged beer into an imperial stout category. Why wasn't Bellwoods Bring Out Your Dead in this category then? Why wasn't there Hellwood Stout aged with cherries in a cognac barrel in this category then? Why wasn't Nickel Brooks Old Kentucky Bastard in this category then? You've opened up a can of worms now where this Imperial Stout category could have had so many different things. Not taking anything away from that beer, the Russian Imperial Stout Bourbon Barrel Aged from Great Lakes is amazing, but you have to make up your decision on what your categories are going to allow in. Amsterdam's Tempest came in third. Really good beer. I hate the epoxy they put, well, the stuff they put on top, but great beer. Wellington's Russian Imperial Stout isn't bad. Grand River Brewing's Russian Gun Imperial Stout, not bad. Well, yeah, something gun, yeah, Russian, yeah, whatever. Not a bad beer. Bolshevik Bastard from Nickelbrook, not a bad Imperial Stout. There's lots of stouts that could have been in here. And then we have fruit beer, Mill Street's Framboise, Framboisen, Amsterdam's KLB Raspberry Wheat, Clock Tower's Raspberry Wheat. There are so many. I've never had the Clock Tower one, so I can't talk about it. But the KLB Raspberry Wheat is kind of lacking. It started lacking a lot in the last few years. There's Nickelbrook's Green Apple Pilsner. There is so many different pumpkin and fruit beers that come out of Bose. There's the pumpkin porter that came out of Big Rig. There's some lime beers that have come out around Ontario lately. Wellington's Tropical Lager. There's just so many fruit beers out there that could have been used instead of KLB Raspberry Wheat. But again, I personally don't know what was in this category. Railway City's Cranberry Pilsner even. But again, digressing. Flavored beers. Black Oak's Double Chocolate Cherry Stout. Sawdust City's Skinny Dipping with Friends. And Sawdust City's Red Rocket Strong. Flavored beers, lots of things that could be put in there. Bogfather by Bose. There's just lots of things that you could put in the flavored beer category. I'm fine with that list. I'm just again, I wish I knew what else was in the category, because that category could be huge. There's just so many good flavored beers in Ontario. Strong beers: Mill Street Barley Wine, Mill Street Amber de la Chaudière, and Wellington Iron Duke. There's a lot of strong beers that could have been in this category as well. Better than what's there, but hey, those are still good beers, award-winning beers. Yeah, I just again wish I knew it was in the category. Gluten-free. Toss up here, man. Nickelbrook gluten-free. There's not many gluten-frees brewed here in Ontario. Then Snowman, Top Hat, and Snowman. Who's That Brown Ale. Snowman is a entirely gluten-free brewery, so you'd expect them to win some awards in this category. Barrel aged. See, now we have a barrel aged one. Great Lakes 25th Anniversary Bourbon Barrel Aged Russian Imperial Stout. Alrighty. Came in second, of course. Amsterdam's Order and Chaos came in first, and Cameron's Very Special Pale Ale came in third. I never got a chance to get the VSPA. It was a cognac barrel-aged pale ale. Sounded awesome. Other barrel-aged beers again. The Old Kentucky Bastard. The Bellwoods Bring Out Your Dead. The Screaming Beaver Double IPA aged in bourbon. The Winter Brewed and Collaborator mixed together and aged in bourbon barrels. There's just so many good barrel-aged beers. This category could have been huge and amazing. Homebrews. They did a homebrew IPA category. There was Jeff Conway and came in first. Neil Fuller came in second. Stephen Mills came in third. So Jeff Conway is going to get the chance to brew a commercial batch of his beer at Lake of Bays, I believe it is. Newcomer of the Year, Big Rig Brewing, and Beer of the Year was Amsterdam Springbok. That one I don't agree with. There is so many beers that are better that came out last year that should have been in there before the Springbok, but again, digressing. Thank you guys. Yeah, what do you think? What are your thoughts on the awards? I know this was a long video. Sorry. Bye.